Hey people, it's Nayastoki. Now this is another Black Holocaust video. So the source is Black Past. This is about King Leopold and the Congo Free State. So here we go. The Congo Free State, also known as the Independent State of the Congo, was a private possession owned by King Leopold II of Belgium from 1885 to 1908. King Leopold II became interested in the region during Sir Henry Morton Stanley's exploration of the Congo River between 1874 and 1877. Leopold's claim to the vast region, approximately one-third the size of the continental United States, was established in the 1880s as the private holding of a group of European investors headed by the king. In November 1877, Leopold formed the Committee for Studies of the Upper Congo to open the African interior to European trade along the Congo River. Between 1879 and 1882, Stanley, working for Leopold and the European investors, established stations on the Upper Congo, where he opened negotiations with local rulers. By 1884, the Association of International du Congo had signed treaties with 450 independent African entities. Based on those treaties, it then asserted its right to govern all the territories comprising the Congo Free State. During the Berlin Conference of 1884-1885, where European nations, and I just want to go back to this for a second. I've made my black traders videos. All these treaties these African nations or local rulers made is an act of treason. Because it's an opening to these European powers to come in. Every single one of them is a traitor. And it's like the African saying, I don't know which country it came from or which culture. When there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. With no enemies in Congo, the enemy outside, the Belgians, couldn't have done any harm. Let us never forget that. During the Berlin Conference of 1884-1885, where European nations petitioned the African continent, the region was officially named the Congo Free State, and the conference recognized Leopold as its sole owner. Leopold, the only European to be granted private ownership of an African territory, in turn promised to bring civilization to the people in the area as his main goal. And keep in mind this, people tell you to get over this. They tell black people to get over this. A European didn't just own slaves. He literally owned a nation as his own personal territory. The same way you would own a car, he owned a country as for the size of America with, 20 million people? About the population of Yugoslavia around the 1990s. It's just massive. And they just brushed that over. Oh, yeah. This wasn't a long time ago. He finished ownership of that in 1908. That's what. There was that's within living memory. That's over. There was actually I saw a post, right? There was a person who was descended from a president, or a descendant of a president. But anyway, this is getting off the point. Let's just keep going. By the early 1890s, under Leopold's rule, the Congo Free State would become notorious for its cruel treatment of the Congolese. This included forced labor to harvest rubber, palm oil, and ivory. Punishment methods, including beatings and lashings, were used to force harvest gathering quotas to be met. Another form of punishment that was used by the force publique, African soldiers led by European officers in the employ of Leopold, was the amputation of the hands of Congolese men, women, and even children if their rubber quotas were not met. I want you to just think about that. Force publique, African soldiers. So do you understand? Some of the most brutal atrocities were done by African people in the continent. So do you understand why it's something not to be proud of when you see black politicians or black cops or black lawyers or black judges? These people are often the most despicable of traitors. They enable some of the worst atrocities to happen by giving a stamp of approval that it is not racism, that it is not an injustice, because so-and-so black person is doing it or says it isn't. These people are evil. In 1890, historian and journalist George Washington Williams, who traveled to the Congo Free State, first brought this exploitation to light when he wrote an open letter to Leopold about the suffering of the native inhabitants and the brutal treatment by Leopold's agents. Polish-British novelist Joseph Conrad, who visited the Congo Free State between 1890 and 1894, also brought attention to the mass atrocities on the Congolese people that he personally witnessed. He wrote what he saw in Heart of Darkness, which was first published in serialized form in Blackwood's magazine in 1899 and then became a best-selling novel in 1902. An international outcry led by British journalist Edmund Denis Morel, who campaigned against Leopold, focusing on the violence occurring in the Congo Free State. Morel's campaign methods including using newspaper accounts, pamphlets, books, eyewitness testimony, and pictures of victims that came from missionaries to convey the story of horror in the Congo Free State. As a result of the Morel's campaign, the Congo Reform Association was established in 1904 to promote reform of the Congo Free State. In 1908, under the pressure of the CRA and other international groups, the Belgian government took control of the Congo Free State from Leopold and renamed it the Belgian Congo. Leopold died in 1909. Belgium ruled the region as a colonial possession until the Congo gained its independence in 1960. Today is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So, I don't know if I should put up any images in the video of the atrocities committed. Probably not. They're just too gruesome. But look, if you just web search it, Belgian atrocities in the Congo, you can see for yourself some of the really horrific things they did. There's an image where there's a father looking at the remains of his child, where they killed the child, cannibalized it, and then they just left a few little pieces like hands and feet, and he's just looking at there. Or images of people with their hands amputated because they couldn't meet their rubber quotas, people being cannibalized. And this was a routine thing that they would cut people's hands off if they couldn't meet the rubber quotas. And one of the reasons why I say boycott all of these European nations, I saw that in Belgium, they still sell chocolate hands as a commemoration of this. And if you look at the Wikipedia for King Leopold, which I read through, there's often a lot of debate within Belgium. Oh, he was actually a great figure. He did a lot of things. It's just the sheer racism that enables it. If King Leopold had done this to another European people, he would be decried as a monster. They would pretend that he had never ruled them. All references to him would be erased out of sheer shame and disgust. Or if he was written in a history book, it would only be to denigrate him and to show how evil he was. The idea that there was anything redeeming about a person who wiped out millions of people, it's the settled figure they have for the Ma'afa this guy committed in the Congo is about 10 million. Other people say that he killed 12 million out of a population of 20. Either way, it's millions of people. It's just so barbaric. And a lot of the atrocities that happen in the Congo, I believe, are rooted in his rule. You know, all these atrocities that were committed, the traumas that were inflicted on these people. Traumatized people grow up to inflict trauma on other people. You know, you see all the barbaric crimes, war crimes that you see in the Congo. They didn't just pick up one day and say, we need to do these things to each other. They were shown to them. It was done to them. It was taught, you know, inflict pain and suffering on people to establish power over them. It was Belgium who did that. So anyway, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.